We're theme park families.
Theme park families.
We're theme park families.
Won't you join us now?
We're theme park families.
Thanks for joining us, we aim to please.
If roller coasters got you weak in the knees,
We're theme park families.
if you wanna find the best dessert or
Take a potty break with privacy,
find a coaster that is tame for little ones,
or one to make you scream.
we're theme park families.
Everybody's ready to babies.
Rescuing you all from life's luxuries.
We're theme park families.
We're theme park families.
Press the space bar. Yeah.
And just like that, the regular operating season is over. How sad. Where did it all go? That's Andrew.
And that's Adam.
Ooh, I thought I could trip you up with that one. You hesitated for a second. Very nicely done. And we're whoever we are, we're theme park families, and we're so glad to bring you a couple of episodes here back to back. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Recording this right after school on Halloween, so trick-or-treaters are going to start coming, and we've got to go out and trick-or-treat ourselves. So we're going to try to record this and get it up right after we go trick-or-treating. Back-to-back episodes here. But that means holiday season is just around the corner, and parks will be closed for just a couple of weeks as they transition, get rid of all their haunt stuff and put up all of their Christmas stuff. And we actually saw a little bit of transition with that recently,
Yep.
didn't we?
We saw it at Kings Island.
Kind of weird, and we'll be talking about that in a future episode, but it was like Hauntsmas, we called it on social media, where they had some Christmas stuff already up, but also all their haunt stuff up, so that was kind of odd. Sort of Nightmare Before Christmas in a way.
Yeah.
Jack Skellington would have fit in there quite well and would have loved it. The haunt season is now wrapped up, and we have a very cool interview to share with you today from an event that's been happening all throughout the country in different spots and received a lot of press and a brilliant move by the company to do so. But before we get to that interview, let's get some news.
If not running coasters will give you the blues, it's Andrew's news.
Hershey announced the addition in 2020 of Hershey's Chocolate Town, a $150 million investment on 23 acres that will open in 2020. After rerouting a road and using land from an adjacent defunct golf club, the new expansion will feature a new entrance to help ease crowding at the gate on busy days. Chocolate Town will be the new home for the park's carousel, which is turning 100 years old next year. The development will also include a new 2-story themed restaurant with a bar and patio overlooking the park, an ice cream parlor, and a kitchen with a 2,200 square foot Starbucks store.
That's big.
A little bit. In addition, Hershey Park will open a 10,000 square foot flagship store with the company's largest collection of Hershey Park merchandise, the park's largest kettle corn location, and one-of-a-kind Kisses fountain near the new coaster, a 220-foot B&M, its tallest coaster.
Okay, wow, so what an addition for Hershey Park.
That's a lot.
That's amazing, and that's quite a lot of money.
And only, well, you say that, and then all of that for only $150 million?
Well, it is. It's true. It's a lot of stuff. They've certainly needed a new entrance, as all the reports are that on really busy days, that can back up a lot. And it's really narrow. Once you get in, that whole entrance area is pretty narrow. So for them to open it up and make it a lot wider, it will definitely improve things over the next couple of decades once that does open up. It's going to look a lot nicer. I would imagine they're going to generate so much more revenue with that kind of big restaurant and all that. So it's really going to improve things. So, well, with that sound that you just heard, what did you just rip off?
I just ripped off my Kings Island wristband.
Which says what height?
54 inches.
Which is good, because that means you had no problem getting on stuff when you were there. But again, that's for another episode. Interesting, a lot of people have been a little critical of them with their new addition to have another hyper there, and a traditional chain lift hyper at that.
That will be parks with 2 hypers, right?
Hyper's kind of like that. There certainly are other parks that have multiple 200-foot coasters, but I think this is the first one with 2 traditional chain lift hyper coasters. And a lot of people, including In the Loop with the Legend, have been very critical, saying, why would you do that? Does it make sense to you? Especially based on what you know of Sky Rush.
Yes. Because, well, I know for the one that they're making right now, it's because they can only go to a certain height, so it wouldn't make sense for them to do 100-foot tall B&M. Like, so they would do 200 because their height clearance.
So very good that they do have that restriction, so that's why they can't build a Giga. But in terms of what you know about Sky Rush, now you haven't ridden it yet, and definitely next year you will for the first time. Does it make sense to have a B&M and an Intamin Hyper?
I guess, yeah.
Sky Rush, which is renowned for crazy ejector airtime, one of the few coasters that rivals El Toro that I think has stronger ejector airtime. You take a ride like that, which might be a little too much for a lot of the general public, and you build a B&M, which is going to be gentle floater air, which is much more re-rideable and a lot of the general public will like more. To me, it makes perfect sense. The enthusiasts and the die-hard Hershey people will love Sky Rush forever, no matter how bad the restraints are for some people. Whereas this B&M will be a big hit with the majority of people who will go to Hershey Park.
Yeah, because it makes sense, because Sky Rush is Intamin, which is faster, more intense, and then B&M will be for more of your casual fans who like floater air and less craziness, and it'll have better floater air time and stuff like that.
So in that way, I think it's a hit, and it's just going to make a really good park that much better. I think next year we got to get you to Hershey so you can do all those 54-inch coasters. It's been a couple of years now since you've been there. Definitely 2020, but maybe 2019. So that's going to just make Hershey Park that much better overall.
Yes. Disney Imagineering has created autonomous robot stunt doubles that can flip through the air and stick a landing every single time. The bot is able to be slung from the end of a wire to fly through the air, controlling its pose, rotation, and center of mass to not only land aerial tricks correctly, but to do them on target while holding heroic poses in midair.
Now, I just showed you the video. What did you think?
Yeah, that looks insane. It looks so creepy how they're like flung up in the air and doing all those weird move things.
Yeah, if you Google Disney stunt robots, you'll be able to take a look at the video of it. And it's a little unnerving. It shows the progression of them, that they started with a plain stick, and then they worked their way up through kind of rudimentary robots to ones that look very human now. And the last one that they built strikes a pose, like a heroic pose midair, like I'm Captain America or something like that. And yeah, it's a little bit unnerving. And the speculation is that they'll use them in stunt shows, potentially use them in movies perhaps, and it's just the wave of the future. A lot of people feel a little bit nervous with that kind of technology, but it looks really impressive and there's no way that they'll get injured. So it's a really cool sign of the future. I love science fiction, so seeing cool stuff like this, the wave of the future to come, I think it looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see at Disney how it pops up on the screen and in some of their shows.
Silver Dollar City announced their additions for 2019 season, which include a number of new live entertainment offerings. New productions coming to the park next season, including Reuben's Squashbuckling Adventure,
Swashbuckler, yes,
Acrobats, a Magician, Lumberjack, and a new Pumpkin Nights Festival in the fall, as well as numerous new holiday and musical festivals such as Bluegrass Nights and Star-Spangled Summer, the Festival of Wonder, and more.
So that's what you'd figure would have been their additions after 2018 and the incredible addition of Time Traveler. You expected that they would go more show heavy, as at Dollywood and Silver Dollar City, shows are such an important part of their operations throughout the year. And so now to get these new festivals, new shows, it's just going to make a great park that much better. I know they were very excited about these announcements which they just made recently, and all those kind of shows and magicians. You kind of like magic, right?
I wonder if those specific things, are they going to be in separate shows or all in one show?
So I think there's going to be a bunch of different shows that they have that
Yeah.
have a lot of those things. Lots of different new shows and everything that's just going to make that park that much better. So very cool to hear some very positive news. Well, we were excited to see a Facebook friend of ours, as again, we've made a lot of new friends throughout the couple years we've been podcasting now, or a year and a half or so. And we saw a Facebook friend who was part of a very special event recently and agreed to do an interview with us, and we're so grateful for that. It worked out perfectly as she's from the area where our double episodes come from. So let's take a listen to what she had to say and what happened at Fiesta Texas.
Yes.
We are so happy to have a special guest, Kelly, with us tonight, who has recently participated in a very cool event that we'll chat about in a bit. Thanks so much for joining us, Kelly.
Yeah, not a problem. Happy to be here.
Well, before we talk about that special event that you were involved in and how you came to be a part of it, can you tell us a little bit about your home park and your theme park history growing up, how you got into theme parks and all that?
Well, I used to actually be afraid of roller coasters.
Wow, okay. Same experience here. Yeah.
I was actually forced on our state fair roller coaster, and it terrified me. But once I was about 13, we went to Busch Gardens, because I'm originally from Florida, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay.
And my first roller coaster that went upside down was the Scorpion at Busch Gardens, Tampa. And after that, I was mainly afraid of going upside down.
Right.
So once I got through that first loop, I was like, that was awesome. So ever since then, it's just been like theme park, mainly in Florida. But I haven't really explored much to the U.S., but mainly Florida, Georgia, and Texas once I moved from Florida to Texas, here in San Antonio. Fiesta Texas has always been my favorite park to go to. Of course, it is not very far from me, but I started going to the park in, I want to say about 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Is when I first got my season pass to Fiesta Texas, and it's changed a lot since I've been going there, and I haven't gone every year, but I'd say ever since Iron Rattler, or the old Rattler, got changed, I've been noticing like every year just something bigger and better, and it's just, I've been a part of the Batman The Ride commercial shoot.
Oh, wow.
And the VR Drop of Doom for the Scream Tower.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there was any advertisements outside of Texas, but I've had a lot of memories made at Fiesta Texas. Of course, as you see on my shirt,
it's awesome.
I was a part of the 30-hour coffin challenge.
Right.
And I can't. Sorry. It
No problem.
Makes me emotional to think that I would have so many memories at one theme park alone. And being from Florida, my home parks were Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, Busch Gardens. I mean, those are some great theme parks, but Fiesta Texas, when I first started coming to the park, it didn't seem like it was drumming up a lot of business.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, over the years, I mean, I got to see the park just progressively get bigger and better, and it's such a great park. And have y'all been able to experience the park yourself?
Our first time going there was just this past August, and pretty amazing experience. We had seen pictures of it before, I knew about the cliffs and certainly a bunch of the rides, but when you actually get there for the first time, it's pretty shocking and overwhelming. At this point, we've been to every Six Flags park but the 2 California parks, and it's amazing how great that Six Flags park is. It really is impressive.
It is. I mean, especially the fact that it is surrounded by a canyon. And I've taken the tour up on that canyon wall 2 times already. and it's quite a view. I have so many gorgeous pictures of the park. It's definitely a very captivating park.
Well, that reverse view, I can imagine, is pretty impressive. Just the show that they have at night at closing with the fireworks and the lasers and the smoke and fire, that really looks amazing. It really is a beautiful thing. So, unfortunately, we only had a day and a half there, but I absolutely could have seen us doing a lot more time there. In terms of rides, your favorite coaster, you would say, is what? Overall of any park.
Would this include just one coaster or any coaster?
It could be any coaster in the world. Your number one favorite.
The Incredible Hulk.
Now, have you done that since they redid it a couple of years ago?
I did hear they redid it, and no, I have not. I first went into that park when it first opened to the public, and I got to actually ride the original before they revamped it.
Oh, okay.
I got to ride the original Dueling Dragons. When they were actually dueling, it was quite a thrilling experience, especially riding in front row, and you're seeing, straight ahead of you when you're about to make that vertical loop. It's just, whoa, there's a train coming at you. It's like you're playing chicken with a train. I mean, it's weird. And then at the last minute, both trains go into that loop. It's like, oh, I don't know, it's a rush.
Oh, I've heard amazing things, and that's on our bucket list of parks to get to. We haven't done really any of Florida yet, so we really want to get to Universal, especially as Harry Potter fans, so that's definitely going to happen at some point in the future. But we've heard the Hulk experience really isn't any different in terms of the smoothness or the ride itself. They just redid the trains and the track, so I don't think you've missed anything not doing it since.
How did you hear about the event, and what was your reaction when you were chosen?
I heard about it through Facebook, and at first it was just the St. Louis, and I was like, I'm not going to sign up. It's too far away. I mean, I do have to work. But then I heard that it was open to all Six Flags parks, and I was like, I'm 15 minutes away. So I signed up through the website, and I didn't even think I got picked because I thought the selection was going to be made on October 4th. I didn't get the email until the very next day on October 5th. Coincidentally, I was just getting parked at Fiesta Texas. I saw I had an email on my phone. I just dropped down the screen and I saw 30-hour coffin challenge, and I just read the first line.
Right.
It said, "Congratulations, Kelly, you have been selected." I was like, oh my gosh, I was selected.
I can imagine that was so exciting. So you immediately texted all your friends, posted on Facebook and all that?
Yes. I took a picture, me and my boyfriend Nick, we were both together at the time, and we walked into the park, we grabbed the photographer, pulled up the email, and took a photo with the email.
Oh, that's so great. And how many people did get chosen at Fiesta Texas for this?
8 got selected through the email. Hold on. 6 actually. Then there was a 7th bonus person by the name of Pete. He won through the radio station.
Okay.
Here locally, 99.5 KISS. And then the morning show, one of the radio stars, his name is Nard.
Okay.
It's kind of a weird name. But
Radical.
He was there representing the radio station. So there was 8 people in total, but 2 were just bonus extras. Basically how I can explain it.
And you wonder how many applicants they had. I don't know if they ever released it.
I overheard that there was over 800 applicants.
Did you play the lottery that next day? You really should, or that day. You really should have. That's pretty amazing.
Right, but I honestly think it was mainly because of my reason why I wanted to take the challenge.
Ah, okay, so that was part of it. It wasn't just random. So what did you put? What was your reason why?
Well, I love Halloween. This ain't verbatim, just so you know.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. You can wing it.
Basically, Halloween is my favorite time of year. I mean, I know it's a lot for many people, but I, in the past, used to sell coffins.
Oh my gosh. Wow. What are the odds of that? That's incredible. That's like instant winner right there.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, here I am signing up for a 30-hour coffin challenge. Am I crazy? Nah.
Oh, that's...
It's Halloween, so you gotta do something memorable on Halloween, I don't know. That's just the way I like to life is an adventure. Like, my floral arrangement here.
I was just about to state, I love it. With the skull in the middle, that is just so festive, right, bud?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love
That's
it.
so cool.
Yeah, very cool. So did you put that together?
Actually, one of my friends from the Texas Thrill Seeker group got a group together to formulate a plan. Her name is Linda Weir, and she's a very sweet woman. I remember her saying in a comment, what about a floral arrangement? And I just thought she was joking. And next thing I know, after our first break, this appears, and I'm the only one with a floral arrangement. I'm like, wow, where's everybody else's? I like, and then I saw the ribbon, and then I saw hashtag TTS, and immediately I knew. I was like, it was from my TTS family. I mean, we're like family in this group. I mean, we're just just together.
And do you want to plug what that TTS is?
Texas Thrill Seekers.
Okay.
That's just basically, it's a thrill seeker group that we share every experience, whether it's going to a theme park or watching shows from a theme park, anything that's thrill seeking wise. I mean, but mainly roller coasters.
Oh, that's great. And mainly roller coasters sounds pretty good, right, bud?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
What were the rules for the event?
The main rules were we must remain in our coffins at all times unless advised. We had a 6-minute bathroom break every hour, 13 minutes every hour on our phones, and 15 minutes to eat, whether it's a meal or a snack, but we had to sit up in our coffins and eat, but we only had 15 minutes. If we sat up while we were supposed to be laying down, we're disqualified.
Wow.
We had 2 cards that said get out of coffin free, which was an additional 6 minutes. Then we also had a 2-hour sleep voucher, which basically meant that they would leave us alone for 2 hours. But basically, they would mandatory make us get up every 3 hours.
Okay. Just to move around.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't want to be too strict with us. I mean, this is a family park.
Yes.
I mean, they didn't cause any injuries or illnesses or anything like that. I mean, they weren't extremely strict on the rules. There was times where they did not give us a bathroom break every hour, which was fine. I mean, the challenge was to lay in the coffin, and we were at the mercy of the park officials. It's like, a lot of people say we had it easy, but when you give someone the right to tell you when you can go to the bathroom, when you can be on your cell phone, don't sit up or you're disqualified. I mean, you're in it for a challenge, so you gotta abide by the rules. And what they say goes. They don't give you an hour bathroom break, and they make you go 2-3 hours. I'm just saying, that's just from my standpoint. I mean, it kind of upsets me when a lot of people say we had it easy. Yeah, it could have been tougher.
But they weren't there.
Did anybody get disqualified?
Oh, good question.
No, not on our end. No, sir. All 8 of us survived.
Oh, that is awesome. Wow, impressive.
I did hear that the radio guy, Nard, was on the verge of tapping out because he dressed in this thin, long-sleeve material with a suit jacket. It was black. And I'm like, that poor guy's going to be hot. Because at first they gave us no shade.
Right.
And it was sunny. So the first couple hours, I had a sunburn because I didn't put sunscreen on.
Okay. Who thought you'd need one for a coffin? That's pretty wild.
I was prepared to actually have the whole coffin enclosed. But they had us, exposed from, here up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, they didn't give us any shade at first until about 2 o'clock in the morning. When
you don't need the shade as much.
Well, it started raining.
Oh my gosh. So you had a wet coffin.
Yeah.
Wow. So what part of the park did they put the coffins in?
It was in Cracked Axle Canyon, right by the stop, the train. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of speculations where it was going to be, like in the front area of Texas State Square. There was speculation it was going to be displayed there.
So take us through briefly the whole experience from getting there, how it was all set up, and then a few of the highlights and lowlights as the 30 hours went on. Some of the most memorable things from the experience.
Well, in the beginning, I was pretty nervous because even though I knew it was going to be exposed and our faces were going to be, for the world to see, I was like, how are they going to bring us in? Are they just going to march us like we're, marching to our funerals?
Right.
Or are they going to make it all big and drawn out? Are we going to come through from the train? Because we were close to the other whistle stop location where we could have just loaded everything on and they could have sent us on our merry way and it would have just brought us right where our coffins were. But they ended up walking us all the way through the park with our pillows and blankets, and it was so funny having all the park guests staring at us because this was during opening time. So they're like, what's going on here? I mean, it's not like there was anybody having signs saying 30-hour coffin challengers or coffin dwellers or anything like that. We get there and it's like, it's all barricaded. There's people standing off, the bystanders are looking at you and everything. Like, okay, what's going on here? And they bring us in and we have the opening ceremony and they just go by one by one to introduce all of us, and we get to laying in our coffins. This is the first time they first bent the rules. They gave us our phones for an entire hour while being in there, which was actually really cool because I was hoping to take like videos and pictures of what my view is, and I was able to post them on my Facebook and through the Texas Thrill Seekers group because, I mean, I had a lot of support throughout this whole adventure from my thrill seeker group that I'm with.
Yeah, and I imagine once that 30-hour hit, you're pretty tired.
To say the least.
Yeah, it's like they wake us up and they tell us, okay, WOA, or no, KSAT, or Ken's 5, I can't remember. It's like so much has happened since then.
Oh, I can imagine.
They were like, oh yeah, they're gonna be doing an interview with y'all, and I'm like, oh my god, and y'all kept this up all night long. I look like a hot mess.
I can't imagine. Yeah, after that many hours and being in the heat, sunburned and messy, and holy cow, I can't imagine at that point.
And I was like, on top of that, I didn't think to put on sunscreen, before I'm seeing that we're not covered. So, you think to a normal person that you just put sunscreen on before you start. But I don't know, my nerves was like getting all to me and everything. So I was like, I just want to get this started and get it over with.
Oh, I can imagine. What was one of the darkest or worst moments where you were feeling not great about things?
Definitely the rain was not... the last thing you want is wet pillows.
Oh, gosh.
Wet, soppy pillows. And these are the pillows that I sleep with at night. So I'm like, I don't want my pillows to get all wet.
Your own pillows.
So they ended up putting little tents over us. Unfortunately, Jennifer, who was sitting next to me on the right side, she got it the worst. She was telling me at the end that her blankets, her pillows were all soaked. And it was, I mean, I understand we're subjecting ourselves to that, but it's like, at the same time, you don't want us to get sick either because of this challenge.
It would have been nice if they did have fresh blankets and pillows for you. Well,
they did say to bring our own pillows and blankets to make ourselves comfortable. And the one nice thing they did say that our guests could bring us anything in addition that we may need. So I started out with just 2 pillows. I thought 2 pillows would be perfect, but no, I was wrong. I needed 2 more.
Okay.
So I had 2 pillows propped up under. I had 2 pillows back of my head. Sometimes I would prop one underneath my legs, but after a while, that was probably what was getting to me the most was my lower back.
That leads to the question with that, what kind of cushioning did they give you in the coffin?
And
There was no kind of soft mattress or anything? I figured they would bring in at least like a camping pad or something.
nope,
Wow.
nope, we had to lay on solid wood.
So
We were responsible to make ourselves comfortable.
Okay, so those people who say you had it easy, if you're not an avid camper or something like that, who's gonna have a mattress like that that's small enough? So, all right, that is interesting.
And not only that, but a lot of people are addicted to their cell phones nowadays.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I mean, there was most of the time they stuck with that 13-minute rule.
Okay.
13 minutes. If you did not give up your cell phone, you were disqualified.
Wow. Okay. So there was a judge there pretty much the whole time monitoring you guys. You were not out of anyone's vision at all, really.
No, but they made us feel like that sometimes. There was a point during the second daytime. It was around opening time, around 10:30 on Saturday.
Yep.
Jeff Flicko was in control, and I know him personally.
Okay.
Just because I go to the park so many times, and I've seen him around the park, and he's like, all right, this is going to be your last bathroom break until 12:30, so that's 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then lunch is at noon. And if you need anything, just wave your arm, and we'll assist you.
Okay.
Well, we didn't see them for almost 2.5 hours. They never came over to check on us, which they weren't periodically checking on us.
Right.
But occasionally you would see someone could just walk around, check us out. During the day, occasionally a scare actor would come over, but being that it was too hot, I understand why they wouldn't stick around.
Right.
Because I'm sure it would be pretty hot underneath all that makeup.
Oh, absolutely.
I know I was pretty hot, and I was in a very thin little black dress. I was just making a joke that I was
going
dressed for
Halloween-y.
my funeral.
Yeah. Oh, you went for it. That's great.
Yeah, I was going to go for the vampire look, but I couldn't get the vampire act down in a day.
Right. Put together the whole character, motivations, history, all that.
I was like, you know what, since, this is technically more being presented as like a funeral type thing, I'm just going to go for I'm here for my funeral. I went to the ranger station and check in, and I was like, hello, I'm checking in for my funeral.
Yeah, with that kind of happy smile. Yay, I get buried today.
I mean, I know it was all in fun. I was not totally being serious. I mean, it was that's just me. I like to have fun with it, and it's a new adventure. It's another memory that I get to make.
That is great. It's a great attitude. And then thinking about this adventure, wondering what kind of interaction did you have with the other contestants? Were you chatting a lot the whole time, or interacting, helping each other out, cheering each other on? Or was it not possible with laying in the coffin?
We could talk to each other, but it was kind of difficult when you have loud music blaring.
Oh, okay.
We had to, in order to talk to the park guests, because we were able to communicate with anybody if we wanted to. It helped pass the time, but we didn't really talk to each other while in the coffins.
Right.
We talked when we got out of the coffins.
Okay.
And when we could just make eye contact and everything, and just kind of say, oh yeah, this guy, said, this about my hair. The model that was laying next to me with the big afro, there was a lot of people making all kinds of random comments about her hair, and she just kept getting offended.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I felt so bad for her. I'm like, I mean, you gotta be cool with, because she was like, I have anger problems, and she did pretty good on controlling them. Okay. She never showed any kind of attitude or anything. She was just really keeping it under her breath, like, oh, these people need to stop with these random comments about my hair. My hair is real.
Wondering if it's part of that costume or something. Yeah. Well, that's impressive that she stuck it out. Take us through the last 10 minutes or so, what that was like. What did they do? Was it a ceremonial thing?
The last 10 minutes felt like the last 10 minutes of like an eternity. That's what it felt like. I was just waiting for the Fright Fest fireworks to go off, because they were like, as soon as the fireworks go off, get out of your coffins and everything. And I had this little stupid idea to take my red cape. I had my cape ready to go, and I was going to fling the door open, get the cape on, and say, I'm alive!
Yes!
But unfortunately, that didn't happen. At the last minute, at 6:59, Ron McKenzie said to just sit up in the coffin, and one of the guys from the entertainment part, I guess he's part of the entertainment shows. I think his name is Charles.
Okay.
He basically did like a little Q&A with us. And that was basically it. He came around, he asked us a question, then he would move on. They would give us our big check that looks like this.
Oh, very cool. The classic gigantic golf check. I love it.
So I was like, wow, I get a big check? Oh my gosh.
That is awesome.
That's a souvenir.
Wait, so you haven't brought that to the bank yet, obviously.
Well, I did try to take a picture and go through the app, but it said it's not a real check. So
okay. Yeah, that's good. Speaking of that, what were the total gifts and everything that you wound up winning for the competition?
I did get $300.
Okay.
They're mailing out the checks, though.
It's in the mail. Yeah, I've heard that one before.
Yes, the check is in the mail, but, whatever. I know it's coming. Along in the mail is going to be 2 season passes for 2019.
Oh, you and your boyfriend. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, cool. I'm technically Diamond Elite.
Oh,
so I'm like, all right, I get 2 gifts for someone. Awesome.
Oh, they can't substitute those. Oh, that'll be a great gift for someone. Holy cow, that will be awesome.
Exactly.
Yep.
I'm already in thoughts of who I'm gonna give them to.
Yep.
So also I get Fright Fest wristbands, which I mean, being Diamond Elite, I get those anyways. So
okay. So again, for friends.
Exactly. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just working for some gifts here.
Yep.
But the main eye on the prize was that fabulous coffin that I laid in. It's not like a real legitimate type of coffin. I mean, it's mainly for decoration.
Right.
But we're planning to use it as a Halloween decoration. Mm-hmm. And this lovely arrangement's going to go nicely with it.
So perfect.
And we're also going to use it as a photo op where our trick-or-treaters can, say, hey, you want to take a picture in the 30-hour coffin challenge coffin?
Yeah, well, exactly. Have the check right above it and they can take pictures with it. That would be a very cool Halloween treat. You will have the kids' favorite Halloween place to go to for candy. You don't even need to have the big bars this year. Just the fact that you have that will make it a special place.
Exactly. And then probably for the remainder of the time, we're thinking about making it like an area in the house where it's going to be like a Six Flags memorabilia shelf. Mm-hmm. We're thinking about maybe customizing it where it'll be like removable shelves, and for the rest of the year it's just going to have like different special memorabilia from Six Flags, regardless if it's from Fiesta Texas or Over Texas or anywhere else. It's just any little trinkets that meant something to us or something like that. I mean, of course the coffin is the big prize.
Exactly.
Because how many people, besides the people that took the challenge for now, unless they make one for next year, I don't know. But, I mean, only a few amount of people are going to be able to say that they have a Six Flags coffin that was made in Six Flags by Six Flags crew. So it's like a very special memorabilia. So it's like one of only a few were made.
Pretty special.
I'm like, it's definitely very special.
Oh, that is so cool.
Would you do something like this again?
I would. I mean, call me crazy, but it was actually pretty fun. Even though I'm not addicted to my cell phone, that was my main strategy to lasting this whole time. Also, with my job, there's sometimes I go into a warehouse and I basically watch over it. So I don't have a TV there. Yeah, I have my phone. I mean, I have my own basic human rights. I can go to the bathroom whenever I want, mess with my phone whenever I want, but I'm usually bored of my phone within like the first hour of being there. So I find different other things to entertain myself. So that's why I was like, I'm totally prepared for this whole coffin challenge. And yeah, I would do it again. I would do it better. Because I would know what to expect, what to bring. And I was thinking, if this actually was a hit, and there was a few challenges, maybe 5 years from now, bring some of the contestants back that won and do like a 48-hour challenge or something. Because I was thinking if the challenge was longer than 30 hours, I believe we would have had some tap outs.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Well, who knows? Maybe a next step for you that you love coasters, a coaster marathon. They have a number of them down south. Georgia, which isn't too far from you. Six Flags Over Georgia, they do a kids coaster-thon. And some of them last like 5, 6, 7 hours on a coaster with sometimes over 100 rides. So if you have the stamina, something like that's a possibility as well.
Speaking of challenges, for National Roller Coaster Day, I'm sure you're aware of that, August 16th of this year, me and my boyfriend, we actually did our own little challenge. So we woke up at 5:30 in the morning on that day, drove up to Arlington, rode all their coasters up at OT, and the only one we weren't able to ride was Judge Roy Scream.
It never opened that day?
No, the only reason was because we were there in line and we were ready to board and the ride broke down on us.
Oh, that close.
We were actually able to ride the kiddie coaster too. She actually let us ride. She wasn't going to let us ride. We were like, look, we're on a mission. We're riding every single coaster here just for National Roller Coaster Day. And then we're heading back to San Antonio and riding everything in Fiesta, Texas.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
In one operational day.
That's not easy.
But the curveball was Donhauser from ZDTs. Seguin, the owner of the one and only Switchback.
Yes.
He offered us one free ride if we would make a detour from Arlington to San Antonio to go to Seguin and ride his roller coaster to include it into our roller coaster challenge that day. We rode 22 roller coasters in 9.5 hours.
Wow.
In between Over Texas, ZDTs, and Fiesta Texas.
Wow, that is impressive. And Judge Roy Scream, it never opened back up for you.
It opened up probably an hour after we left.
And to do it, you couldn't have stayed that hour. You were under that time crunch.
We were under pressure, and unfortunately, we didn't even get to ride Poltergeist at Fiesta Texas because it was shut down.
That happens a lot to those, unfortunately. We did get that credit, thankfully.
Our goal was to ride everyone. We didn't get to ride one in each park, so we're happy with 22.
That's still pretty impressive, and that's a lot of driving as well. Very cool.
Yeah, I did all the driving.
Well, yeah, we know you can stay up for a long time, so doing that, no problem. You've got that. Maybe a couple of monsters along the way or something like that to keep you awake.
I had 2 that day.
There you go. The 2 for $4 special. Trust me, I know that one. We do a lot of late night rides, right, bud?
Yeah.
I know that very well. Switchback, we didn't wind up getting there. We drove past the exit, but we just didn't have time to do it. What do you think of Switchback? Do you love it?
Oh my gosh, it is my favorite wooden roller coaster. I mean,
wow.
Full wooden roller coaster.
Right.
It's quite a unique experience, and the best experience is riding it with the owners.
Oh, that's so
Sarah
cool.
and Danny. I had the pleasure of riding with Sarah and Danny. The first time I went to ZDT's was back in August of this year. And it was a really cool little water park, theme park.
Yep.
It's one of the same. And Switchback,
so different.
The really cool feature, other than the fact that it's a shuttle wooden coaster, is, if I'm not mistaken, it has a 110-degree bank turn.
Yep. Gravity Group likes those.
It is just like, wow. It's impressive that it even has enough, for a wooden coaster to actually go on its side like that. I've never seen that.
There are a number of wooden coasters now that go upside down completely.
But yeah, with RMC and everything now,
Yeah.
I mean, reconstructing a lot of them.
Yeah.
Next time we get down there, we'll definitely hit up ZDTs. That's a guarantee. Well, Kelly, thanks so much for joining us and sharing your story. What a cool event, and it's so great that you got to do it. And thanks so much for sharing your story with us.
No problem. I appreciate you inviting me on your show.
Terrific. It was great having you.
Yep.
Cool. That was exciting to hear about it. I know EB from Coaster Radio really wanted to get a spot, but maybe now he knows for next year, instead of saying he's from Coaster Radio, he should have just said, yeah, my parents owned a graveyard and I used to take naps in coffins, and I even considered calling my first child Coffin because I love graveyards and coffins so much. So maybe that should be his tack for next year. So what do you think? Could you do a competition like that? 30 hours?
Definitely. I could do that.
Oh, yeah?
As long as I had a cell phone with me and a pillow and a mattress, yes, I'd be good.
Yes, that was the helpful hint about having a mattress, that it's not one provided for you. Yeah, I agree. I think that's totally feasible that you could spend that much time through it, but kind of rough not being able to sleep all that much, that they were woken up all the time. So Kelly, once again, thank you so much for that. It's great to have a new friend to the show and connect to the Texas Thrill Seeker group as well, as we know a lot of people in that as well. So that's awesome and cool to hear. It'll be interesting to see in the next few years what they do with it. If they change the competition, or if it's just going to be a tradition like it is that'll go every year.
Tip of the day, tip of the day. It's the tip of the day. Tip of the day, tip of the day. It's the tip of the day.
Yeah.
Our tip, and Andrew, I'll be excited to hear how you feel about this topic. And I decided for this tip, and it worked out well for this time of the year, the no boo necklaces. Now, I am a firm supporter of inclusion, and including all ages and all members of the family in events. Of course, we're theme park families, and we promote and support families doing things together. But here's the exception. These no boo necklaces are ridiculous. This is an event that's supposed to be a little frightful, a little scary, and I totally do not agree with that concept. That scare actors who are in haunt zones have to watch out and look. If they're hiding behind a bush, how are they going to see if someone has a no boo scare necklace on?
When we were at Kings Island, the prices were like, what did I say, like $21?
No, so it was $10 at Cedar Point, and then you said it was $13 at Kings Island.
Yeah, something like that. And like, just for a cheap piece of plastic that does nothing.
Well, it does light up. It's pretty.
It's a waste. It's
a waste. A couple of times, especially at Dorney, we saw a number of people going through mazes with little toddlers and 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. Like, I still don't even really bring Alex, who's almost 8, into haunts. And some of that seemed a bit silly as well. These are some scary images in some of the mazes. And so the whole idea of a no boo necklace, okay, it's fine if it earns the park a little bit more money.
But, I mean, there's some adults that have them on.
That's true. Yeah, there are plenty of adults who don't like to be scared either. But seemingly that's just not the event for you. Come during the daytime, come during other times. But it just seems to me a silly thing to have a no boo necklace at an event like that, and puts the scare actors in an awful situation. And even in one of the mazes, I remember, I think it was at Zombie High, where the greeter who has to yell the instructions all the time even said, "The no boo necklaces don't work in here." To even think of someone bringing a no boo necklace into a maze is just that much more confounding.
Well, yeah, in the daytime, Cedar Point, they do things where, for some of the houses, where they'll turn the lights on, and I think Dorney did it too.
Yes.
Where they'll turn the lights on, and they'll just have you walk through it without the actual scare actors in it.
And that's what you did 2 years ago with Uncle Michael and Alex, right?
And
at Hex. And that's what it was, right? It was just lights on, no actors.
The actors were in there, they just weren't scaring.
Okay, so they were just smiling and waving to people and that kind of thing.
Well, they were in their spots that they would be
Yep.
when they're scaring, but they didn't scare.
Okay, that's interesting. I wonder how often they do something like that. And so there's a good opportunity for
they also
to
do
be
it with
included.
Zombie High.
And with Zombie High as well. Okay, that's interesting. And those kind of things are fine, but otherwise, haunts should be scary places where you can have a little bit of edge to it, so no boo necklaces, just not my thing. For our ride of the week this week, we're going to be talking about, and I didn't even let you know, the Huss Swing Around. Now, even though that name probably doesn't mean anything to you, a swing around, you know these rides. So let me describe it to you. This is a ride that goes around in circles, as most flat rides do, and you're in a cart with two people, and the cart is attached to the centerpiece with a long stick, and you start going around and it goes faster and faster and faster, and then every cycle the arm swings up and you're up in the air, and then it swings back down, and it goes up and then swings back down. Now, do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, those. I forgot what they're called.
The Huss Swing Around is what they're called.
Well, I forgot.
At Dorney, it's called Apollo.
Apollo.
And what's great about these is that young kids who generally, in most places, if you're 36, a young kid can go with an adult. And I really like them. Do you like those rides?
Oh, they're fun. I like them.
They're so much fun. As they pick up speed, they actually get pretty intense. And it's a ride that goes in circles that doesn't make me dizzy at all, so that's one reason I really like them a lot. Now, can you think of other parks that have them? There aren't that many that exist.
Darien Lake has one.
Very good. You probably don't even remember what it's called. We haven't been on that one. It has a funny name. That's the corn popper. Why it's popping corn, I don't know. But it's the corn popper.
That's random.
So we've got Apollo at Dorney, corn popper at Darien Lake. Do you remember any others? There aren't that many others that we have done.
I don't know.
Okay.
So is it? Yeah, there's one at Canada's Wonderland.
Boom! Very nicely done without looking at the sheet at all. It's called Clockworks with a K.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the center of the park. It's
like
near the mountain, right?
Steampunk thing.
Yeah, I think you're kind of right. It's right by the mountain there.
It's right on the right side of the mountain.
Perfectly stated. Excellent. And then there were actually two more that I don't remember seeing. Both at parks where we only did really coasters because we didn't have a ton of time. There's Fjord Fjerlane at Worlds of Fun. That's in the area of the park where we did that circular ride where the floor drops out.
That one's fun.
Yeah, so sadly that's gone, as we know. So that's in that area of the park. And then Six Flags Great America, the one in Chicago with Goliath. They had one called Ricochet, but I don't even remember ever seeing that. But again, we really didn't do any flat rides other than you did the drop tower. And that was kind of about it for Great America. So we really like them. I was surprised that there actually aren't more of those. And so hopefully that doesn't mean they're all going away, because I think they're a really fun flat ride. So that'll do it for this episode. There's still lots more to come that we have to get to in November, including finally finishing off that southern trip after we left Fiesta, Texas, wrapping up the end of that trip, which feels like it was almost last year at this point. We have our October events that we'll be talking about, including Knoebels for Phoenix Fall Fun Fest with Clinton Cherry, and Dorney's Haunt, and our recent trip this past weekend to Cedar Point for our last trip in Haunt, and then Kings Island for a couple days in Haunt, and our attempt to get on Firehawk. And don't forget, as we posted on our last episode, our TPF Quest about a controversial topic that you have that maybe is against what other people in the theme park industry feel, whether it's a ride you like, something at the park you like, flat ride, a type of food, whatever it is, a single park, anything in the theme park industry, send us your controversial topics. And again, there's a couple ways you can do that. We'll do a post on Twitter, a post on Facebook here pretty soon, so you can check it out there. Or again, you can send us an email, or even better, an MP3 that you record on your smartphone or at home on your computer, and send it to us at themeparkfamilies@gmail.com, and we'll play it on that next episode. So we'd really like to hear from some of you what your controversial ideas are, and I think Andrew and I are going to come up with some ourselves. So
I already have one in my head.
Okay, you have one in your head. I can't wait to hear.
Food.
Ooh, it's a food. All right, very good.
I think a lot of people will not like mine.
Okay.
But, you know.
I thought your controversial topic might have been that kids shouldn't be allowed at theme parks. I thought that's what you were going to say.
No.
Okay. So they should be allowed?
They should be allowed.
Okay, I like it. So very good. So definitely check that out. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks again for listening. We appreciate it every time you do. In the fall, it's raining like crazy, and we will not have a drought.
My soccer field is like a wave pool, which hurts my flow. Andrew, out.